Today is Monday. It is Chavtes Adar, and we are in Teres Menachem Sefer HaMamorim, Tovshin Yud Aleph, Tovshin Yud Beis, and we're in the Maimer Vhishalachti B'Seichechem of Shabbos Parshas B'Chukoisai, Nevorchem Acheder Stephen Tovshin Yud Aleph, and we are on page Pevov. We are up to Ois Gimel, chapter 3, starts with the word Ommam. Quick reminder of what we're learning about. We're learning about the promises that Hashem gives to the Jewish people in Parshas B'Chukoisai, that if the Yidden will follow, if we follow in Hashem's statutes, the Torah enumerates a number of promises, including two, among which are the following two. I shall walk among you, and I shall lead you upright. The expression used for walking among you is Vhishalachti b'Seichechem, the hispoil, rather than just straightforward Vhishalachti. And the Rebbe explained this as meaning two types of walking: a constant walking, and it's two types of walking: from below to above, and from above to below. Meaning to say, the combination of the ha'aloah, the ascent of the ones below us to Hashem, the godliness, and the reverse as well, the godliness coming down. And each one of these two types of walking, the ascending walking and the descending walking, have unique characteristics that the other one doesn't possess, and also there are different conditions prevail in terms of these two types of walking. And the Rebbe first explained the ascent. And he enumerated the three conditions of the fact that you need to know the way, derech and also nesiv, the main ways, and also the small paths. Second of all, you need to have special clothing, not only that it shouldn't hinder your walking, but also that it should assist you. And number three, you need a lot of strength to do so. The Rebbe explained this in Avodas Hashem, as the neshama comes down here in Lamata, the soul in the body, and then also in the ascents of the neshama, the soul, after it leaves this world and goes on high, the ascent from this world to the lower Gan Eden, and the ascent from the lower Gan Eden to the higher Gan Eden. And the Rebbe explained that there are many, many multitudes and limitless levels of ascents in Gan Eden, although generally there are two: Gan Eden Elyon, Gan Eden Tach, Gan Eden Tach, Gan Eden Elyon. And concerning the ascents, the Rebbe explained the conditions that are necessary, based on those three that I mentioned before. But this is all in the ascent from below to above. Chapter 3, Gimel, Omnam, however, the idea of walking from above to below, descent, is in such a way that these conditions are not necessary. For the one that's above, who is situated above, he knows the ways and the paths, right? And so too, he is also one that possesses a lot of strength. This means, for besides the fact that for the descent from above to below, you don't need so much strength. You don't need as much strength as climbing from the bottom up, obviously, because it's easier to go down. The only what's necessary is only that he should be able to contract himself and descend. In other words, to have a controlled descent, to control the speed with which he descends. But you don't need as much strength as you would need if you would be climbing. So besides this, the power of the one above is strong. That's denoted by the fact that he's already on the top. So in the nimshol, in the moral, we're talking about elokus, godliness. Obviously, the strength and the power of godliness is greater. Also, the third condition, which is the idea. So till now, that I've enumerated the two conditions. First of all, knowing the ways and the paths. Obviously, the one that's on the top knows the ways and paths. Also, he has a lot of strength. And also the idea of these special clothing that we mentioned before, in the ascending process, are not necessary in the descent. Not only is it not important so far as the one above is concerned, it's also not important from the perspective of the one below. In other words, also the garments from the one below are not important. Meaning to say that he's talking about this process of ascending and descending in the sense of the relationship between the one below and the one above, between the Nivra, the created being, and the Creator, and Hashem, Malakus, godliness, right? So when we talk about the descent, it means the godliness coming down from above to below, connecting to the Tachten, to the one below. So the garments that are unnecessary and not required, neither does the one that descends require any garments, and neither does he care about the state of the one below, what condition his clothing is in. And the Rebbe is going to explain that, obviously, as we know what are the vushim, what does the Alter Rebbe say in Tanya, what are the spiritual garments of the one below? Machshava dibur ma'aseh, right? It's thought, speech, and action. So we'll get into that.
We're talking here about the descent of the Nefesh Elokis from.
No, we're talking about the descent of godliness connecting to us down here, to Nivraim down here.
Talk about the descent of our soul into a body.
No. Let's see how the Rebbe spells it out. For example, when it came to the giving of the Torah, the way the Torah was given was in a way of the Torah being drawn down from above to below, right? It says in the pasuk, as the Torah says, Hashem descended on Mount Sinai. What does it mean he descended? Metaphorically, the Eibishter is everywhere. It means that Hashem revealed himself. He drew himself down to whom? To the Eden, to the Jewish people. In that situation, the condition of the ones below, the condition of the Jewish people at the time, wasn't that important. Why? As we see concerning the exodus of Egypt, the Torah says, the nation ran away. We ran away from Egypt. The Jewish people ran away from Egypt. And the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya concerning this, he first asks, why was it like this? Why was it that the Jews had to run away? Had the Jewish people told Parai, right, that we're leaving for good, he wouldn't have been compelled to leave, to allow them to leave for good. He would have to. Why was it in a way that we ran away, the Jewish people ran away from Egypt? But it's because of the fact that the negative elements in the souls of the Jewish people were still in their full force. So far as the body and the animal soul is concerned, there needed to be the running away. We needed to escape. Meaning to say that the way the Jewish people disengaged from the negative aspects of Klippa, of the opposite of Kedusha, at that time was in a form of running away, which indicates that you break away, which indicates that the condition, the spiritual condition of the Jewish people at the time, wasn't refined so that it would be possible to disengage in a more organized way. You had to break away, you had to run away, which indicates that at the time they were not refined. Although after they left Egypt, we had the Avodah, serving Hashem through the idea of counting the Omer, and as we learned quite at length in the previous Maimer, what's the idea of Sfiras Omer? Is the idea of refining the animal soul. So why are you saying that came to the giving of the Torah, the condition of the ones below was not important? We know that there was some process of refinement. Granted, when we left Egypt, when the Jewish people left Egypt, they were not yet refined. Okay, Baruch Ham, they ran away. But then they had the 49 days, the Avodah, the serving Hashem, through the process of refinement of the animal soul. So he says, however, the revelations that came about, that took place at the giving of the Torah, are infinitely greater than what was achieved through this Avodah, through the serving Hashem, and the process of refinement that took place at Sfiras Omer, counting the Omer. V'nimtza. What's the bottom line? What comes out from all of this is that the general revelation of the giving of the Torah was in a mode of from above to below. In other words, the condition of the one below wasn't as important, wasn't important. What came about as a result of this great revelation from above to below? It says, so he quotes over here from the Gemara, that their zuhama, their impurity, zuhama is like, I believe it's like a film. You know, when you cook a chicken soup, what happens is there's a film that
I saw it.
that
I saw it.
finished.
The film, I saw it.
I saw it too. A film gathers at the top of the soup. That's called zuhama, right? It's basically all the what comes away from the chicken, from the fat, and so on and so forth. It gathers at the top, right? And the good those that know how to cook chicken soup good know eventually how to make it clear that the chicken soup should be clear. But be that as it may, when Adam Rishon sinned at Chet Eitz Hadas, the sin of eating from the tree of knowledge, Yorda Zuhama. What happened was a film, as it were, a spirit of impurity descended upon man. At Matan Torah, Poska Zuhamosam. When Hashem gave the Torah, this spirit of impurity stopped, was removed. So what do we see? What happened as a result of this great revelation of Matan Torah? It was so powerful that it caused that zuhama, that impurity, to end. Just as it was before the sin. Clear, clean. And the drawing down of this great revelation from above to below was in such a way that the speech of Hashem, when he said, I am the Lord your God, was heard from all four sides of the world. So too we find concerning the resurrection of the dead that is going to take place when Mashiach comes. It'll be in a way that it'll be a great revelation drawing down of a great revelation of godliness from above to below. That's why our sages say in Sanhedrin, that all Jews, with the exception of the few that the Mishnah mentions, all Jews have a share in the world to come. Which refers over there to what? To the resurrection of the dead. It means that the idea of the resurrection of the dead will take place by all the Jews, all Jewish people. Right? So what do we see? We see that this revelation from above is so powerful. When we talk about the revelation from above to below, this is so powerful that it has an effect on the ones below in a way which is infinitely greater than their condition. Which means to say that he's going along the lines that in this revelation, the levushim, the garments, are not important. Not only the garments of the one above, but also the garments of the one below. In other words, the condition, the prevailing condition of the one below is not so important. So why is it necessary for us to have this Aveda, so forth? I believe, I don't know if the Rebbe mentions it later on, but when there is a great revelation from above, you need to at least remove, I think the Rebbe does explain it later on, you need to remove any interfering circumstances. But it's not that the condition, that the state of the one below draws that level from above. The level that comes from above is infinitely greater than anything that the one below has accomplished. It's just that if they are in imperfections, he's going to say it later on. We'll see how the Rebbe spells it out. If the person, you need to remove any circumstances that might interfere with that revelation, for our sake. But so far as the one above is concerned, the condition from the one below is unimportant. It's not like in Gan Eden in heaven, in which there are different levels, as mentioned before, right? Gan Eden Atachten, Gan Eden Elyon, and infinite levels, higher and higher. So we're talking about something materially different. Here we're talking about all Jews having a share in the world to come, because this is because of the fact that this idea of the resurrection of the dead It's in a way that the one from above descends to the one below. Therefore, because of which the level and the condition of the one below is not important. And now the Rebbe goes in to give a beautiful mashal for this. We're just going to learn one more line just to start it, because it's davening at 7 o'clock today. Yeah. This will be understood from a parable of a great king who sits in his royal chamber, in royal garments, royal clothing, and with a royal crown. And the entire nation, all the people are standing outside. And all the requests reach those that are appointed and the ministers that surround the king. They transmit their requests to the king. Why? Because they themselves cannot enter to the king. And even when there is someone who actually has the merit that he's given permission to enter, there are limits up until where he can enter. Whether you can enter only to the outer courtyard, or to the inner courtyard, or to the king's room himself. But sometimes it happens that the king wants to reveal himself to the nation. Then he leaves his chamber and he stands at the gateway, at the portal of the palace of his chamber, and he reveals himself to the entire nation. Okay, we'll carry on tomorrow.